I get asked one more time, how do I do those TikTok videos? I'm gonna lose my mind. So instead of doing that, I'm just gonna show you so y'all just quit asking. So, the program I use, we're doing a quick and dirty version here. Try to keep it under 10 minutes. You're gonna go out to Google and download DaVinci Resolve. It's 100% free. After you've downloaded and installed it, launch it, you're going to come to the DaVinci Resolve project management screen. You're going to create a new project. We'll just name this one TikTok. Hit create. All right. As you see, we have a completely blank project. The first two things you're going to do is create a timeline to put your video in and import and edit your media. So first thing we're going to do is you're going to right click in this area, create new timeline. So we will call this TikTok. And then the next thing you're going to do is use custom settings. And then come here to format. And we are going to flip this to 1080 by 1920. Because that is the resolution of TikTok, and hit create. So here we have our blank TikTok timeline. Next thing we need to do is fill this with media. So right click in that area again, import media. I already have a piece of media called Snipe Me. We are going to import that. And now that is available for us to edit and do what we need to, and then dump it into our timeline. So we are in kind of this cutscene room here. We're going to go ahead and move on to the edit tab. In here, we are going to drag and drop our media into this timeline. So now that Snipe Me is part of the TikTok timeline. Here you can slice up, cut, edit, add transitions, text, do whatever you want. We're not going to go on that. We can do that at another time. This is just to show you if you're already familiar with DaVinci on how to make that beloved face cam video. One thing I do recommend is do all your edits first before you move on to these next steps, because it becomes somewhat of a nightmare if you have, 30 clips that then you have to apply these settings to. So once you're happy with your edits, try to keep it into one if you can. If not, we'll show you how to do it across multiple. So I'm going to hit B on the keyboard. That will bring up your blade tool. We'll cut this. That's a quick editing tip. That just split my single timeline media into two. Okay. So for that TikTok look that all the gamers love, you're going to select your pieces of media, hold Alt, and you're going to drag up. That's going to create an exact copy. Do that one more time, because you're going to need 3 layers of video for this. All right, so we can keep things straight. We're going to name these. We'll name this one background. The middle layer is your main layer. And the top layer, if it will allow me to select it, is going to be your face cam. All right, now that you got your 3 layers, you're going to come back here down to background, select that first clip. You're going to go up here to inspector, so hit inspector, and you're going to set zoom, and you're going to set this to 3.25. You might have to play around with this if your recorded resolution is not 1920 by 1080. So we hit that. It's going to expand that background to fill these black spots here. You're going to come to main, and you're going to change this as well to 1.5. And then for face, select it. Then you're going to come up here and select this transformation tool. It's going to highlight it, and we're just going to kind of drag this towards the top of our workspace here. Okay. here comes the fun part. So background, now that we have transformation tool selected, we can kind of see that it now is filling that. Main is now filling. As you can see, if we zoom in here, you can kind of see my cam here. So for that, we'll come here and select this, and we'll just kind of keep bumping it up here until that cam is no longer visible. So too far. You hold and drag. Okay, so perfect. So that ended up being almost 2. Then background. Background looks good. Okay, next thing, come up to the face cam. Zoom in a little bit. Make sure transformation is selected, and we're just going to blow this sucker up. We're going to drag it around until your cam is close to the top. That looks good. Next, we're going to come down to here so you don't have to look at all that extra video. Hit this drop down and crop. So now we're going to drag it up. So we really only see the cam, which is what we are looking for. All right, so things are starting to come together here. Sorry for all that zooming in and out. So this should start to resemble something. So we'll see. We'll go ahead and hit stop. And for the sake of my memory, we're also going to come down here and we're going to mute the other 2 channels so we're not wasting audio. There. Okay. So we're still on face. Since we're still on face, we're going to come down here to fusion and we're going to do some fusion magic here. We click on this. It's going to bring us to a new area. So in Fusion, this is where you can kind of do custom backgrounds, masking, and a bunch of other stuff. But for this, we're going to keep it real simple. Going to drag in, not a rectangle. We want this. Okay, so you can see that's just a floating element out there. We're going to drag and connect it to this. All right, you can see it has applied a circle mask to our face video. So we're going to select our ellipse. And if you hover over the edge here, you can see it turns kind of white. We're going to shrink this down a little bit. And then we're going to come here to the middle. We're going to grab it, and since we kind of know our video is over here somewhere, there it is. We're going to drag it till we see my beautiful mug. We're going to make it a little smaller there. All right, so that should look familiar. You can leave it like this. We'll go back to the main cutscene, and you can see now that this is up here, we can drag this around to where it looks a little better on the screen, and we can also shrink it down a little bit so it fits more appropriately there. Okay. Then we can take it to the next level if you would like, where some people have a different thin line border around that. So for that, we're going to disconnect these nodes, and we're going to come up here to a merge node. We're going to create that. We're going to come over here and grab a background and another ellipse. All right, next you're going to go to your background, over to your color picker. I always pick purple. Right now we got a background. We're going to grab the end of the ellipse, connect it to the background, and then connect that to the merge node. So these are all disjointed now. As you can see, we don't see anything up here anymore. We're going to take this node, connect it back here, and then connect that output to the out. And once it renders here, we shall see a purple circle. So we're going to select that purple circle, do the same thing, wait till it highlights white. We're going to shrink that. Something like that. Select it, and we're going to drag it behind there. And we're going to shrink it because I don't want a giant border. That looks center enough, but you get the idea. So as you can see, this is how you set that up. And when we come back here, we now have that beloved purple border. So we did mess up our crop here, so we're going to readjust it. We're going to drop this back down and go to transform so we can move this around. Looks like we need to adjust the crop again. There we go. And then let's shrink to fit our space a little better. All right, there you have it. That's the first part. If we advance the timeline here, as you can tell, it's not looking anything like this, because those settings to these clips do not travel over to here. So to get that to flow over, you're going to select this, Control C, highlight the clip you want to apply it to, and you're going to hit Alt V. We'll bring up this. This is where you can transfer the attributes you just applied to the clip to another clip. And you're just going to collect video attributes. And then now that should match the other clip. We go to main again, Control C, Alt V. Since I've already done that once, it thinks it knows what I'm doing. And that's what I want. I'm gonna slap that there, and it's going. And then one more time. But on this one, it's different. You're gonna notice that all that work we did back here is not there anymore. So what you're gonna do is come back to this clip that we went and did the fusion. You're going to go back to the fusion tab. And we're going to hold Control, select these, Control C to copy them, go back, select this clip now, and we're going to go into that clip's fusion layer. As you can see, there's nothing there. We're going to hit Control V, kind of drag it here, disconnect the input from the output, and do our sequence of events again. Connect the ellipse, connect to the merge, and then connect out. And then voila, saves you a little bit of time. So now that work that we've done is now transferred to this clip. And I honestly don't like where this main is located. So I'm going to drop it down. Oh, put that back. Ah, the background finally finished rendering. All right, and since I made that change here to this location, I can hit Control C, go back to the other clip, Alt V, and apply that as well. So they should be matched up now. Alright, last thing we're going to do is blur that background. So come to your background, and we're going to go up to the Effects library. We're going to select Open Effects. We're going to do a Gaussian blur. So select that and just drag it down here. And then if you see in the inspector, we now have a new tab. Select Open Effects, and we're just going to kind of drag this so we can kind of still see what it is, but not be distracted by it. To me, that looks good. And then border type, I usually do wrap around to get the effects that I want to see. And I kind of did this out of sequence, but you can add that at the beginning. But I'm going to do the Control C, Alt V again to apply that blur here so I don't have to mess with the settings again, and they match. As you can see, this has turned red. That's because it is actually rendering it in memory. All right. Looking kind of like a TikTok video now, isn't it? All right. So once you're satisfied with everything, like I don't like the positioning of this. It's kind of cut off, but good enough. One thing I do like to do is to make sure I save, because we just did a lot of work. And the last thing that I like to do is come down here to the audio. We are using audio 1 as our active channel. As you can see, it's active here. I do have a s in my voice, so I like to add a de-esser to kind of eliminate that a little bit. So I drag that to audio 1. It will bring up this menu. I am a male with an S, not a sh problem. Select that. Defaults work for me. You can play around with that. That will help eliminate some of that S sound coming through the microphone. Last thing, we're going to go to this last tab, and that is where we're going to do the rendering. So here's where we get ready to export. Here's all our individual clips. You can kind of go through and review them if needed. We know there's some imperfections in ours, but this is informational. So we're going to name this TikTok. We're just going to do desktop for now. And then we're going to scroll down. For TikTok, I use MP4. I leave it at that codec. Resolution is custom because we did flip it. I am going to move this to 30 frames just to smooth things out. I leave quality at best. I put encoding to high. The last thing that I do change is I come down here to advanced settings. And I put force sizing to highest quality and force debearer to the highest quality. This will improve the quality a little bit. And then there's the last one. I lied. Use optimize media. And once you're all set with the location and everything, you can either actually directly export it to YouTube from here if you would like. A few other things. But I just do it to my desktop, upload it to my OneDrive, and then I can just download it to my phone and upload it to TikTok. But after you're confident in that, add to rendering queue. Now I'm going to be over here, and you're just going to hit start rendering. It's going to go through that video and spit out the final product. We'll give it a few seconds here, and we'll come back and we'll show you the final product. Alrighty, it's finally done. Let's take a look. So here it is, the location we told it to go. Fire it up, it should look just like a TikTok. Look at that.
Oh, one's in the shoe house window. Oh, phase 6 over here.
So it's like I said, it's not perfect. We went through that real quick, just to help you guys out in making this video. So here's kind of another one. You can get creative, add pictures, add your logo, do things.
Settings. One being brightness,
Add pictures,
saturation,
whatever you need to do. This tool is very powerful. If there's any interest in learning it any more, I'm happy to put out some short videos to help you guys out anytime. So take it or leave it, but that's how you do the TikTok face cam circle. Thanks for tuning in.